I'm serious. I really think he went above and beyond on this thumbnail. It's either this one or the last one I did on Brendan Schaub. Man, my guy Brian kills the thumbnails. Link in the description. Find him on Twitter. You need thumbnails made? You need any kind of image like that? Hit my boy Brian up. Tell me you don't love this thumbnail. Oh, Brian, you killed it, man. You killed it. Thanks, bro. I sat quiet. I did. I sat quiet. I watched Stephen A. Smith talk about Rogan. If anybody that you don't want to go against is Rogan. I mean, his fan base is literally insane. Joe Rogan might be the most famous person on earth for men from the ages of 18 to 36, 18 to 40. If you're in that age group, that genre, 18 to 35 gap, you're a Rogan fan. That's the same age that watches ESPN and the UFC and Stephen A. Smith. To go after Rogan, ooh, let's see what I have to say. I'm the biggest Rogan fan. Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night. All day. Mad respect to Stephen A. Smith. Nothing but respect to the man and the tremendous work that he has done over the years and will continue to do throughout the years to come. But Stephen A. Smith, I think you'd be surprised. You're wrong. You're wrong here, my man. Yeah, you, Stephen A. Smith. You're wrong here, my man. You're wrong. What you said about Conor McGregor not showing enough in 40 seconds, he was dominant from bell to bell against one of the greatest fighters in the UFC, will be a Hall of Famer. Donald Cowboy Cerrone will be a Hall of Famer. And to take it away from him and say that what Conor McGregor did wasn't masterful, you're out of bounds. You're out of bounds, man. And, you know, for you to get this upset and start saying, check the numbers on ESPN, ESPN Plus, digital, all of that. Google how many millions a podcast from Joe Rogan gets. Check him out. The most successful podcast of all time, the Joe Rogan Experience. He is the epitome of podcasting. He doesn't need ESPN. He doesn't need ESPN Plus, and he doesn't need the UFC. He is arguably the most famous guy for people from the ages of 18 to 35, 18 to 40. He is so famous. And what he says, especially regarding MMA, in the world of MMA, is gospel. You're out of bounds. I think you'd be surprised. You're saying it doesn't take much to show that 3 shoulder strikes to the nose of Donald Cowboy Cerrone making him fold? Have you ever been hit in the nose, Stephen A. Smith? Ever? Have you ever been hit in the nose while fighting only in board shorts in front of millions and millions of people? Have you ever prepared for 6 to 9 weeks for the biggest fight of your life and get shocked that someone is throwing power shoulder strikes into your nose, breaking your orbital, breaking your nose? He didn't get one shot off. The only shot he got off was a blocked head kick. Now, I get it, man. That shows how crafty Conor McGregor is. This doesn't show how bad Donald Cowboy Cerrone is. I don't understand why you're not following that. And 2, why are you so aggressive? Dude, you're getting like hyped up in your video, talking mad, deepening your voice, getting upset. Relax. Relax. Do you know what would happen to you if Joe Rogan was to fight you in a physical altercation? I guarantee you don't go 40 seconds. He would fold you up like Gumby. You sure wouldn't dare take a spinning back kick from this man. You want no part of a physical altercation with Joe Rogan. Yet, when you're speaking to him, you're putting the bass in your voice. You're getting very, very aggressive. You're getting worked up talking about it. Stephen A. Smith, you gotta relax. Not only are you out of bounds and out of your lane talking MMA, but you're way out of bounds talking to Joe Rogan like that. You're lucky he's a sweet dude. Listen, they say the old Joe Rogan in the early 2000s wouldn't take this. The Joe Rogan today, the enlightened one, man, he's going to ignore this. He's not going to even shed a bit of light on it. But us fans will. We'll have fun with it. I'm having fun with you, Stephen A. Smith. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you at all. I just want you to see that you got some criticism. Your ego is so big that you can't accept the criticism, and you attack Joe Rogan aggressively, verbally. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Also, when it comes to sports, we get it. 25 years of experience. Covered boxing and UFC. That's not your lane. Stay in your lane. No one's taking away the 25 years of what you did, but you messed up covering that fight. I shouldn't have to tell you this because you're a reporter. You've been covering sports forever. So you should know this. Styles make fights. Did we see enough for him to fight Nurmagomedov? No. We need to see that his grappling is next level before we see that. But you brought up 2 fights that are in talks with him. But you left out Kamaru Usman. That's being talked about. That fight's in there. You said Khabib Nurmagomedov or Jorge Masvidal. Those are the 2 that you said are his options. He also has Usman, Kamaru Usman. He's on the line. What about the trilogy with Nate Diaz? Those are his 4 options. The Khabib Nurmagomedov, I agree with you. He's got no business in there with that man. Styles make fights, and stylistically, that's not a fight Conor can win. That doesn't take away greatness from Conor. It says how great Nurmagomedov's wrestling and control is. Why doesn't it say that he's earned it enough with Masvidal, though? That's where you got me tripping. Striking versus striking, that's tailor-made for both of them. Kamaru Usman, I don't think he wants that wrestling. Usman's really, really strong. If Usman will stand with him, absolutely going to be a great fight. Nate Diaz, we know that's a war. We've seen it twice now. It can go either way. Depends on what weight they're going to fight at and how bad that one wants it that night. But to say that he's not ready for Masvidal, you're silly. You're being silly. Stay in your lane. And if you think Masvidal would run through Conor McGregor, I think you'd be surprised. When you challenge Joe Rogan that you're willing to stand by what you said the next day, the next week, the next month, the year later, and that says that anytime that he wants to come see you and sit down face to face and talk about this fight, you're ready, like you're manned up and ready to do it, for sure, chill out. But 2, what that sounds to me is a desperate attempt to get Rogan to offer you onto his podcast because you know it's the biggest platform that you have ever been on. I guarantee you Rogan's numbers on his podcast do better numbers than ESPN Plus. I bet he's had episodes on the Joe Rogan Experience with more downloads, more eyes watched it than any sports coverage you've done. I'd be willing to bet that. If not, I bet they're that close, and you've got a machine behind you called ESPN. Joe Rogan has his name, Joe Rogan. But when you're doing that, when you're calling him out, it sounds like a desperate attempt for you to gain some fans, get more popular, get some notoriety behind you to try to get on his podcast. You're not offering for him to come to ESPN. You're not asking for him to come to you. You want him to set it up. So basically what you're saying is put me on your podcast and make me famous. Then you say Cowboy folded like a cheap tin. What are you talking about? That guy put 9 weeks of his life for the biggest fight of his life. The most money he stood to ever make, that he will ever make again, was in that night. And he would have gotten more had he won. What do you mean he folded? That's the most disrespectful thing you can say to a fighter. Why would you do that, man? While he's suffering a broken orbital bone, a broken nose, and you're sitting behind your phone like this and saying he folded like cheap tin. He folded. I got nothing but respect for the guy, but he folded. Why are you doing that, man? His kids are going to see that someday. I don't get it, dude. He didn't fold. He got beat. That's it. Conor McGregor's the better fighter. That's all that happened. That's it. Any true MMA fan will tell you that. He just was outclassed. His skill set didn't match up. He got beat, but there's nothing to say he folded. He tried. He wanted to win that fight. Believe me. Man, disrespectful. I hate the end. I hate the way you wrapped it up. Like, Joe Rogan, if you need me, you know where to find me. Stop, Stephen A. Smith. Just stop. Just relax. I get what you're saying. I can agree with you on one thing. Your point is Conor McGregor doesn't look like he's ready to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov anytime soon. I completely agree. Where I think you're wrong, and I think you'd be surprised, he would do a whole lot better against Masvidal than you think. But you give me a headache. I can't stand how aggressive you get to make your point. And then telling Joe Rogan to get at me. You know where to find me. Relax, dude. Why do you do this? Why? I don't know, man. It's a bummer. Really is. I know your word is respected a lot in journalism and broadcasting. You don't need this, my man. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for you. People around the MMA industry are laughing at you. It's not a good look, man. You are well respected. You have earned your keep. But when you do foolish things like this, that's exactly what you look like, is a fool. I don't want to be the first person to tell you that. Bums me out, man. Just because I'm feeling nice and I want to give you some more advice, turn your phone sideways whenever you film stuff. It looks better. Gives us a better shot. Because when we hold our phone straight up and down to watch whatever you're filming, it puts the bars on the side. What are you, a rookie? Secondly, don't put videos of you playing patty cake and boxing gloves with your trainer online ever again. Do you see me laughing? Do you see me making fun of you? Now do me a favor. Get off of this channel. Go to Twitter or Instagram. Open up the video of you playing patty cakes with gloves on, with your trainer holding mitts for you, and look at your comments. It's not nice, buddy. It's not nice. You're stiff. You're throwing your right hand weird. I know, someone says you have a rotator issue. You had surgery on your shoulder. Then don't post it. I'm not a very good dancer, so I'm not going to post videos of me dancing. Don't post things you're not good at, especially in a sport that you just ran your mouth in, and then you get viciously attacked. I'm not laughing at you. I'm trying to give you some advice. Gave you 2 pieces of advice. Maybe you'll give me some advice back. But until then, Stephen A. Smith, I want you to do this for me 10 times. I'm happy with myself. Just try that. But say it like you mean it, man. Because we mean it. We like you. We just don't like it when you're so far out of bounds and you talk about things that you don't have a great grasp on. Like saying anyone in a fist fight folded when you weren't in there. It's the most disrespectful thing, man. It's hurtful.